So the cardiovascular system, heart rate variability, blood pressure and stress, how do they all work together to cause a perfect storm of ill health or the perfect conditions for better health? So when we refer to the cardiovascular system, we're referring to the pump, the heart, and the blood vessels and arteries coming off of it. Generally considered to be a closed system that goes around the body. If it's no longer a closed system, then you're bleeding, then you got bigger problems and you need a trauma specialist or a tourniquet. But when all things are well, when we've got all limbs intact and we're not bleeding, we've got this closed system, and you've got your blood whooshing around this closed system, and it's carrying nutrients and oxygen and all the good things that we need up to our brain, up to our tissues, into our muscles, and it's collecting all the waste from our lymph nodes. It's collecting all the waste, all the carbon dioxide, all the things we don't need, and carrying that back where it can be filtered through the kidneys and excreted or breathed out. So we've got this great little system working. Now, when all things are going well, our heart rate and our blood pressure and our metabolic health are all working together synergistically, and there's flexibility within this system. So the heart rate can go up and down. You walk up a flight of stairs, your heart rate's going to pick up to supply the demand. So, supplying more blood, more oxygen, more nutrients to the muscles as you go up that stairs. Then as you flop down on your sofa and you relax in the evening, the heart rate can then slow down, it can settle down, and there'll be this rhythm through the day. And that's perfectly natural, perfectly healthy. I see a lot of people with these smartwatches, a lot of people checking their pulses, a lot of people getting very concerned because there's variations in their heart rate. There's supposed to be variations in your heart rate going through the day, within a range. There is a range of things, but if you don't feel unwell, you're probably not unwell. Like, by that I mean, if you're getting dizzy, if your heart rate goes too low, like way too low, you're going to be feeling dizzy, you're going to be feeling lethargic. Likewise, if your blood pressure drops too low, you're going to be feeling dizzy. If your blood pressure shoots up too high, you might get headaches, things like that. So in the absence of physical symptoms, that fluctuation is quite natural. That's what we want. Now, as for our blood pressure, the blood pressure is affected by the heart rate, so how fast the pump is beating, how strong that pump is beating, how much fluid is going round and round in the body, and also the flexibility or the malleability of the vessels. So as we get older, as we get sicker, and as we build up fur in these arteries and blood vessels, they can become stiffer. This is a process known as stenosis. So if you think your heart rate could then be going up and down, so it's pumping more blood, but these blood vessels lose that ability to open up and constrict as well as they used to, which is why we can get symptoms of high blood pressure in some cases. The pump's pumping, it's pushing the blood, but the pipe remains rigid and stern as opposed to having this flexibility. So as with everything, as with our heart, that's why high heart rate variability is so good for us, because it's this flexibility in the heart. And that's why we want flexibility in the blood vessels. We want to move away from stenosis by, healthy living, good lifestyle. That's going to increase vascular tone, so that it's going to be able to flex and move with the times. So you've got this system that looks after itself, and as it ages, like an old plumbing system, you can get problems with the pipes, you can get problems with the pump. But also stress, how does stress play into this, and why is this so important? Well, stress, as we know it, this chronic low-level stress that a lot of us are under these days, will flick you from parasympathetic nervous system. So your parasympathetic nervous system is associated with rest, digest, relaxation, a calm state of being, deeper, slower breathing. This is known to increase heart rate variability, so the heart can fluctuate and adjust as it needs to. In turn, this is going to help to bring blood pressure down as it relaxes and dilates those blood vessels. So you're opening these blood vessels, allowing more blood to flow more easily. So everything's chilled, everything's flexible, everything's happy. If we're over in the sympathetic side of the nervous system, that's a state of awareness. That's like fight or flight. That's like, right, I've got to be on it. I've got to get out of this situation. That in itself causes vasoconstriction, and it causes a reduction in heart rate variability. So rather than having this flexibility in the heart is suddenly going to start beating harder, faster, boom, 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 like a marching army. It's got to get you out of trouble. And these blood vessels are going to constrict because they need to push this blood up to the brain. They need to push this blood into these places. It's also worried about you getting cut or hurt, fight or flight. It thinks you might need to be running away from a tiger or running away from an adversary. So adversary, enemy. So if you get cut, it's going to be causing this vasoconstriction so you don't bleed so much. So it causes all this compression, all this tightening, which on a battlefield or in real danger is a wonderful thing to have. The body's phenomenal. It's a great system. But the body was not designed for the 21st century, or more to the point, the 21st century was not designed with human health in mind. This hustle culture, this got to get here, got to pay a bill, got to do this, cost of living there, cost of living here, war, fear every time you turn the telly on, fear. It's almost as if the system is designed to keep you in a chronic state of stress and ill health, isn't it? But that would be another story. So the point is, when you're chronically stressed, you can see how that's going to lead to chronic vasoconstriction, and it's going to reduce that heart rate variability, which in turn is going to increase the blood pressure, which is in turn going to put pressure on all the organs going around your body, which in turn is going to make any health situation you have worse, which in turn is going to add to stress. So stress management is not a nice to have. It's not a I should do that. It's I must do that. It is something that's so beneficial to be able to put yourself in a parasympathetic side of your nervous system, to be able to relax at will, to reclaim this flexibility on a nervous level, on a nervous system, neurological level, but also on a cardiovascular level. So stress management is so beneficial and crucial for your overall cardiovascular health. I hope you found this video helpful. My name's Daniel Wellard of Breath Behaviour Belief. If you have any ideas, comments or questions, please do put them in the comments and I'll get back to you. Have a great day. I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.